But mostly, when you talk about retirement calculation, it's not in dime. Okay. We have a separate way to calculate that retirement. So don't worry about the retirement part. Just don't get confused if tomorrow you attended any Zoom or any call where they are talking about 10, 20 rules or something like that.
I had a question.
Yeah.
Regarding the 20 times when we give that calculation, right?
Mm-hmm.
Is that the answer, let's say, in a scenario wherein if you have 20 times your income today, you can retire tomorrow?
No, it's not. That's why I said, the retirement calculation is totally different. It's just you don't have to get confused while attending Zoom calls. So because there are few leaders when they do calls, they talk about 20 times and 10 times. So don't get confused. But when I'm going to share all those things, how to calculate retirement income and all that. So hold on to that thought. You will get that answer within a couple of days.
Altaf, quick question. So when you're calculating your assets, I think you have 401k considered as your asset, or
Is considered as your liquid asset. And any dollar money that you have or any not in liquid is your asset. Remember that part. If you own something, is your asset. It's not like it's not your asset, but liquid cash that you can access at any time. That's more important because people have property. Yes, it's your asset, but it's not like you can overnight access that cash. And if you're accessing overnight, that means you have to give away a lot of your profit, and then only it might be possible. So when it comes to access your money, it should be the liquid. That's why they calculate only 401k, bank or CDs or IRA, where the liquid cash is there. Yes, there are penalties, there are tax liabilities, all those things. But even after that, you can access.
Altaf, what if the client says that even the real estate, they're not going to need it right away. They have other liquid assets to access and they can take, they don't need all the money on day one when somebody dies.
Yeah, you can.
So what if they argue, how would you answer them if they say that they won't need the real estate, they can take 5 years and sell it. So they want to count it as their asset.
The simple thing, you just have to tell them that, see, having more is always good rather than having less. So if you want to be so cut to cut while you're doing it, and if you want to calculate real estate, you can. And if you don't want to plan extra for your future, it's okay. I'm not saying that you have to, but it's a better that if you plan like this, you will never get into a trouble. See, we cannot force them to think the way we think. We can show them what is right for them. But if they don't want to listen the way you're saying, tell them, good for you, you can do that too. I'm not forcing you. But if you ask me an ideal, like we did last Sunday one FNM, and this guy have $100 in his bank account. Okay. And he has stock portfolio about 400,000 and 401k 600,000 and that. So I said, you have to have at least 6 months of money in your bank account. So he said, why should I need that money? I have line of credit. So if I have to use, I will use the bank line of credit. I said, you can, but if you ask me, ideally, you should have at least 6 months of money in your bank account. Because tomorrow, if something happened where the banks are not giving you any type of loan, like in 2008, banks stopped giving loans, they stop all the line of credit. They are not going to tell you that we are going to. They just send you a letter that we are reducing your line of credit or we are closing. In that situation, what you're going to do? So, see, if you ask me why I have to keep it, so ideally, if you ask me on a financial side, you have to. But if you don't want to keep it, don't keep it. I cannot force you to keep it. I can just tell you what is right and how you're supposed to plan. But if you're saying, no, I don't want to, don't do it. Simple. I'm there to inform him or educate him what is the right way to do things. If he wants to understand, good. If not, I'm not ready to argue. Always remember that. If he said, why this? Okay, why this? There is no why. This is how it's supposed to be. Now, if you want to, I can show you how to do it. But if you don't want to, it's okay. Be normal. We don't have to argue with them. Amit, Shravan, Zahir, Galaxy X, Ali. So always remember what we are doing in FNA, financial need analysis, that we are sharing, understand that how their financials should look like today and for future. Okay. We just inform them that this is the better way if you go like this. But if you don't want to, we are not forcing anybody. Okay. I'm not going to convince you that what I'm saying is the only way. Remember that part. This is one of the way that can help you. If you said, no, it's not right. Okay. So you go with your way. Always be calm when people are asking you this type of question, and always try not to get into any type of argument. When you leave them, they want to do it. Remember that part, because now they think that, oh, maybe I'm wrong. So don't prove what you said. Tell them that this is how it's supposed to be, but it's up to you. It's your finance. Have that control in you. Remember that part. Sometimes we lose control. You don't have to. We are not there to win. We are there to share. We are there to share information.
Recording in progress.
All right. So up to now, we did a lot of follow-up. The only follow-up we didn't do it, that is rule of 72. Okay. So people who are in the morning call, they are not going to share, they are going to quiet. Okay. So please, if you're in the morning call, you're just on a listening mode. Okay. So who wants to explain rule of 72? What?
I can try.
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, rule of 72 is basically the backbone of the financial industry, and it was discovered by Einstein. What it does is basically you divide the 72 by rate of return, and it gives you approximate number of years your money is going to double.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
I just want to correct one thing, right? Because I did Google about it. Albert Einstein didn't discover that. Okay, it is just that he he just mentioned, I think, that people who know about that, it's really powerful. Who don't know, they will become victim.
Okay, Asif Bhai will send you that picture. over there it says it's discovered by Albert Einstein or invented by somebody.
Yes.
It's on
discovered
930 group.
by Albert Einstein.
It's in the 930
It's
group.
not, yeah.
So that statement is
it's not, it's not invented, it's discovered by Albert Einstein. Okay. So she said discovered.
No, yeah, Mena said discovered. So she
Yeah,
was-
I know, she's right.
Yeah.
That's why
Okay.
I am right, yes.
See, Asif bhai already sent that message. See, I told you this all, see, Sajan bhai was not on that call, so he don't know, but I already told people that, there are arguments on this. Okay, be ready for that.
Right.
Now it's in all the groups.
Yeah,
Yeah,
so,
because actually one of my friends, he argued about this, and I did Google, and I thought actually I found something else.
okay, I'll send you
Anyway,
Sajan
leave
bhai.
it there.
Sajan
Yeah.
bhai. See, you was not on that call, so I'll give you what you have to do when someone said that.
Hmm.
Tell them it's okay, whoever discovered, understand the concept, what I'm saying, how it works. Okay. You don't have to get into any argument in any time. Write down in the bold letter. We are not going to argue with anybody, even they poke you. We don't have time for that. We are financial professionals. We don't have that time. Our every single second, every single minute is very valuable.
Right.
I don't have time to argue on anything. Okay, you said it's not Albert Einstein. Whoever it is, understand what he's saying about that. Simple.
Yep.
We are not getting into any argument, okay? All right. So can someone tell me why we share rule of 72? What is the reason behind it?
Is a way to calculate the compound interest.
Okay, who else?
It's
Because
to let the client know approximate number of years for their money to double.
Okay, who else?
To explain the rate of return part in the wealth formula.
Okay,
To explain the importance of rate of return,
okay.
to show them how money works, how money grows.
That's what I was going to say.
Okay. So people who said rate of return, what that mean exactly? Rate of return or the interest?
Rate of
interest. Yeah, interest, basically higher interest, higher rate of.
So see, when you said
Compounding interest.
rate of return, there are two different meanings of rate of return. Okay. We share rule of 72 to show them that if they are getting a better returns on their money, what happened? And if they are getting the less return on their money, what happened? See, every concept you have to know the reason why you're sharing with them. Because if you're sharing this concept to anybody, you have to be very clear that exactly what you want to share with them and why you're sharing. You're sharing this concept so that they can understand that if they are getting lower interest or lower return on their investment, what happens? And if they are getting a higher return, what can happen? That's the main reason why we share rule of 72. Okay. Everyone clear about that? You don't have to tell this to your client. You have to be in your mind that why I'm sharing this, what I want to show, what is the motto behind that. That exactly what I'm doing right now after sharing rule of 72. Got that point? Now, who wants to share that equation?
72 divided by the interest rate is the number of years for your money to double.
And money to double is
Approximately.
that right?
Approximately.
Approximate. How many years it will take for money?
Approximate number of years. Remember that.
Approximate.
If you're not saying approximate, then be ready for argument. Okay. Now, that example that we normally share, 2%, 4%, and 8%, who wants to go for that?
So Essentially, we share that example to make them understand.
But what is that example and how you're going to share that example?
Like if you have 10,000 that gives you 2%, then you show that like it would take 36 years approximate number of years for that money to double. It's a way to help them realize that, if there's a better vehicle for them to move it.
You just share with me, like if I'm a client and you're sharing with me. Don't give me the explanation, just share the way you share with the client. That I'm a client and you're sharing that the example, how you're going to share.
Okay. So Altaf, if there are $10,000, sorry.
No, go ahead.
So Altaf, if you have $10,000 and it gives you 2% return, can you tell me how long would it take for you to double that money?
You're going to ask this question in the very first place?
No, but after explaining rule of 72, that's when I'm going to ask this question.
Okay, from the very first thing. How you share in your BOP?
Oh, okay. So in that case, I'll say, Altaf, do you know what rule of 72 is?
Okay, it's done. You said 72 divided by rate of return, everything is done. Now, if you have $10,000, from there, continue.
Okay, if you have $10,000 and it gives you a 2% rate of return, then using rule of 72, it will take 36 years approximately for that money to double. So Altaf, how many more 36 years do you have in your life?
Now hold on to this. Okay, who wants to go?
Yeah, also, this case. So probably I would start like this. So as we discussed about rule of 72, now, if you invest in a vehicle that returns, 2% interest for your $10,000, it will take about 36 years to double your money approximately. And say if you invest in another, investment vehicle that returns 4% of interest, that will take about, 18 years approximately to double your money, which is basically 72 divided by 4, like that. And if you invest in a vehicle that returns, 8% of, interest, that will take only, approximately 9 years to double your money. So that's how the rule of 72 works.
Now I have one question. You guys were in the BOP, right? You guys gave the mock session. So why the language is changing when it comes to sharing the rule of 72? Why you have to change your language? This is not the language in your BOP.
Yeah, just didn't follow that.
What I said, you have to be duplicatable. That means whenever you're saying something, that should be in the same way. Remember that part.
Got it.
Rule of 72 in BOP is same. Rule of 72 is in FNA is same. There is no difference.
Okay. Yeah, got it.
So why you're trying hard?
Explained. Yeah.
Who wants to go next?
I will.
If you
You was there in the morning call, right?
Me, no, not today.
Okay. Go ahead.
Okay. If you have $10,000 and if you're getting 2% of return on your 2%, so it will take approximately 36 years to double your money. So your 10,000 will become 20,000 in after 36 years. And same if you putting 2% return instead of 2%, if you are getting 4% return, so it will double your money in 36 years. We'll get like $40,000. And the same way, if you put your money in 8% return, or on other sense, if you're getting 8% return on your $10,000, So your money will be approximately $160,000 in the same 36 years.
Okay, I'll tell you one thing, okay? If you are learning something, please practice. Otherwise, just learning is not going to be enough.
Altaf, shall I go next?
Yeah, go ahead.
So Altaf, if you have 10,000 and getting 2% return on that, it will take 36 long years to double your money. That means 10,000 will become 20,000. In this case, most of us try to save money or work hard to make more money. But instead of that, 10,000 from 2% to 4%, the same amount of money will become double. That means it will become 40,000 in same 36 years. That means saving is important, but saving at the right place is more important. And then I will ask question, do you know how much you will get if it's 8% return? And I
If
will
I
wait.
said 80,000.
You know what? Even I guessed that amount that first time when I asked this question, but actually it's 160,000. Please correct me if I'm wrong. Am I right, Altaf?
You said the right way. Even you read or something, I don't know.
Few
or
things
you
I read,
remember.
yeah. 50%
Because
I remember,
it's in the
50% I
script.
read.
Because everything is in the script.
Yeah.
Practice the
Yeah,
script. Don't push your head too much. You have things in front of you, practice. Don't try to find words. You already have that thing. Who wants to go next? One last.
I can
Let's
go.
see.
So, Altaf bhai, how are you? Doing well?
Yeah, no, go ahead with the
Okay.
example.
So, if you have $10,000 and you're getting a 2% return, it will take you 36 long years for you to double your money. Now, at the same time, if you're getting 4% return on your money, it will only take you 18 years for that money to double.
Again, you change the language. See, you have to understand, don't change language. It will hard for you in the beginning. Once you are perfect, do whatever you want to do it. Believe me. This is not the time. If
So where
here
did I
you-
change? Where did I?
See, write down if you want to write down in your own way. That if you have $10,000 and if you're keeping that money at 2%, it will take 36 long years to double your money.
Right.
Okay. That means your $10,000 become $20,000. Now, in this case, most of the people try to make more money or try to save more money. But instead of that, if you just move your 10,000 from 2% to 4%, the same $10,000 become 40,000 in same 36 years. That means saving more money is really not important. Saving at the right place is more important. So can you tell me if you're getting 8% return, how much is going to be in 36 years? You have to ask them a question. Now, whatever their answer is, okay, whatever answer they gave you, 80,000, 70,000, whatever, what you have to tell them? See, I did the same thing. I gave the same answer at that time. But when I come to know that is not the answer, it's 160,000. Now, the one sentence that you do in BOP, they said, see, if you have a financial knowledge, then your money can work for you. But here, when you're doing FNA, you cannot say that.
Right.
Okay. Here in FNA, you just have to tell them that, see, if you're getting better returns on your investment, you don't have to work for money. Your money can work for you. Because here you're not delivering the BOP. So You cannot tell them about the financial knowledge, because if you're saying that, that means you're poking them, that you don't have a financial knowledge. Yeah, I'm not using any notes. I'm using the same thing every time. That's why I'm getting perfection in that. If you're not doing that thing and trying different thing, how your team will duplicate you? Something that is written in front of you, word by word, sentence by sentence. Try not to just write, practice. So everyone clear about this thing? Okay. Now, the most important thing, where people are making a lot of mistake in our business, and that topic is called taxes. Okay. So first thing, open your fresh page and write down in a bold letter that I'm not a tax advisor, I'm not a CPA, I'm not a tax attorney, and I'm not going to try to be one. Okay. Write down this thing in the bold letter, because a lot of people having the little bit of knowledge about taxes, becoming a tax advisor, tax professionals or something, and they start advising on everything.
Can you repeat again, Altaf?
I'm not a tax advisor. I'm not a CPA. I'm not an, tax attorney or anybody. Okay, so understand that part. This is a very critical topic. Okay. Yes, we help people to save taxes. We show people how to save taxes and all those things, but there is a limitation. So don't try to get into everything, because when you're there, you're a financial professional with a license. Everything that you say, you're liable for it. Okay. So be calculative when you talk. And this is the area where a lot of people are talking so many things, and I don't know where they're getting all that information or where they're collecting all that information, but as a licensed professional, you're not authorized for it. Okay. Now our job to show client that how many different types of taxes are there. So there are 3 types of tax bucket. One, tax now. Second, tax later or tax deferred. And the third is tax advantage. So our job to educate them that what are the 3 ways that taxes work. Okay, and how those taxes work. The first thing, tax now, means whatever income you're making in that year, from W2, K1, C1, all those things fall under tax now. Okay. So normally we don't do anything with the tax now thing. Remember that part. We just have to show them that there is a bucket called tax now. And in that tax now bucket, every income that you're making is going under that, and you're paying end of the year taxes on those things. The 2 bucket, which is tax deferred or tax later or tax advantage. Whenever it comes to saving and investment, okay, these 2 buckets are always important. That wherever you're investing or wherever you're saving, it might be a tax later bucket or it might be a tax advantage bucket. Understand that part. So there are two buckets that we have to explain. Now, there is a very simple way to explain that thing. You simply ask them two questions. First, you have to ask them that if you have $100 and I tell you that not to pay taxes on your $100, but tomorrow when this $100 becomes $1,000, okay, you have to pay the taxes on entire $1,000. Or second thing, that if you have $100 and if I ask you to pay the taxes on $100, but when it becomes $1,000, you don't have to pay any taxes on $1,000. Out of these two options, which options you want to pick? You just have to ask this question to a client. Instead of explaining this tax later and tax advantage, just ask this two questions. In one question, you're asking them that not to pay taxes today, but tomorrow you have to pay the taxes on entire growth plus the amount that you have. In the second one, you're paying taxes on the money that you have, but when it grows, you don't have to pay the taxes. Ask them this simple two questions and let's see what they are answering, okay? Now, there are people who are going to answer in both the ways, okay? So one will say, first, they don't want to pay the taxes later on, so they want to pay the tax on $100, but they don't want to pay the tax on $1,000. Now, there are people who said, no, I don't want to pay the taxes today. I'll grow my money and I'll pay the taxes later. So now how and what to do, okay? Now, if someone said, okay, that they don't want to pay the tax, they want to pay the taxes today, but they don't want to pay taxes tomorrow, okay? Now, when they give this answer, the very first thing you have to go back and check their data collection that you collected and see their portfolio, that what type of money they are saving. Do they have money in IRA? Do they have money in 401k? Do they have money in the stock portfolio? What and where that money is? Okay. Now, if you see that they have money in 401k, okay, or if you see that they have money in IRA or anything, what you have to tell them that, see, when I explain you or when I ask you this question, then if you have an option, what you're going to do, the option that you pick, you're working totally against of your option. Because when I see your portfolio, everything that you have is in tax deferred bucket. But when I ask you, you want to do this way. You got that point? My job not to talk a lot of things about the taxes. My job to make them understand that they are not taking advantage of tax advantage bucket. Got that point? Understand the reason why we share the tax bucket. My job to just identify whether they have any money in the tax advantage bucket or not, and make sure I'm pointing out that thing that, see, you said this thing, but you're not taking advantage of it because your entire money is sitting in the tax deferred bucket, whereas you want to get into the tax advantage bucket. Now, anytime you just have to tell them that, see, no investment is a bad investment, no strategy is a bad strategy. All these tax buckets are very, very important. But if you ask me as a financial professional, you should have your 20 to 30% of your savings should be in the tax advantage bucket, where you don't have to be worried about taxes tomorrow. That means what I'm saying them to get something in your tax advantage bucket because it's empty. Okay. Now there are people, they have this mindset, and I don't know where that mindset come from, because they think like, if I'm not paying taxes, I'm investing that money, so I'm making a lot of money. Okay. So people will tell you this too, that no, I don't want to pay taxes today. I will pay later on because I want to grow my money. Okay. Now here, there are series of questions, okay, that you have to ask. The first question, that what is your tax bracket today? Okay, because a lot of people are investing money in tax deferred bucket without knowing their tax bracket. Okay. So what you have to ask them, write down this question, and if you're not asking this question, better don't ask them. Okay. Because there are series of questions that you have to ask if you really bring value to it. So the first question, what is your tax today? And I'll tell you, most of the people, they are making 100,000, 150,000, 200,000. Some of them are making 200,000, and very rarely you find 300 or 350. Okay. Now, after those things, they have income of somewhere between 80,000, 120,000, 150,000, whereas they are falling under somewhere between 18 to 23%. Okay. So you just have to ask them that what is your tax bracket? Now, whatever they said, write down. It's going to be between 23 to 18 to 23%. Now ask them that how long you're working. If they said 10 year, 20 year, 15 year, whatever. Now just simply ask them that if you're working 5 years or 10 years, so 10 years back or 5 years back, do you have the same tax bracket? What you have to ask them? Do you have the same tax bracket? At that time, people might have the 10%, 12%, or 15%. Okay. Now, my third question, then are you willing to grow from here, or you're done for the life? That means that's it. You don't want to grow from here, or you want to grow from here. The definite answer is, I want to grow. Okay. Now, when they said, I want to grow, here you have to tell them, see, I want to explain you something that you have to really, really understand. That you yourself is working against of your own money. And how you are working against of your money? Because 5 years or 10 years ago, when your bracket was 10% or 15%, you didn't pay at that time, but you say what? 10%. And in next 10 years, you work hard and you grow yourself. Today, you yourself is in 20 to 23%. That means the money that you save at 10%, today, if you want to withdraw, you have to pay 23%. And now you yourself is saying that you want to grow more. That means tomorrow you might be in 30, 35%. So the money that you're saving in 10, 15, or 20%, tomorrow when you want to use, you're going to pay 30% or 35%. So you're thinking that you're saving taxes, whereas you're working against of your own money. Yes, if it's a 401k and you're matching equally, there is no problem, because there is a 50% of money is coming free. I don't care what my tax bracket is. But if I'm saving, or I'm overfunding, or I'm maxing out, or I'm putting in IRA or Roth IRA, SEF IRA or something, am I really working for my money, or I'm working against of my money? Now, I'm not going to stop here. I'm going to ask him one question. What do you think, the taxes will go up or go down? And if the answer is taxes will go up, that is the normal answer for everybody. Okay. So tell him that, when you know that the taxes are going up, or yourself is expecting that is going up, don't you think you're working against of your own money? Because you're saving today 23%, tomorrow you're ready to pay 30% in taxes on entire growth. Whereas when I'm in the lower tax bracket, better to pay the taxes today and grow my money tax-free somewhere. Now, understand this thing, what I told him. And this is the mistake a lot of people are doing it. They don't understand this part, that if government is giving you the retirement planning and this and that, or 401k IRA, is it for you? Are you really in that big tax bracket that where you're thinking about saving taxes? Just because we end of the year, a lot of people go and pay the taxes, and where they see $1,000 or $5,000 or $6,000, they simply ask an accountant, what I have to do to save the taxes? Now understand that part. Accountant is not wrong. CPA is not wrong. You ask them a question that what I have to do to save taxes. They said, open an IRA, overfund your 401k, open a SEP IRA, because you asked the question, they answered you. They're not going to sit down and teach you, this is the tax bucket, this is that, this is that. Their job to answer your question. You ask them how to save taxes. They said, open an IRA. But is that for you really? When I am in the lower tax bracket and I'm deferring the taxes. Now my money is in the deferred tax bucket and I have a 59.5 rule on the top of it. Now if I want to withdraw, I have to pay the 10% penalty, which is my tax bracket, and the taxes. So understand that even if you are doing this mistake, first go and check your own tax bracket. Is it really for you? Yeah, if your tax bracket is 33% or 37%, I can understand. Because today there is no scope of anything, so you can save. But if you're following under 10%, 12%, 15%, or 20%, or maybe 23%, and you're putting money into a tax deferred bucket, you're working against of your own money. And whoever advised you, go and ask them, do they understand this part? So our job to explain people when it comes to a taxes, these are the things that we have to explain them. We don't have to explain anything else. Now I will show you something, okay? See, there are three types of tax bucket. A lot of people knows about tax now, tax later, tax advantage, okay? Now, tax now is W-2, 1099, K1, C1. Tax later is 401k, IRA, SEP IRA, simple IRA. You can talk about the real estate and all those things. Tax advantage is Roth IRA, municipal bond, 7702 plan, okay? But what you have to tell them, look at this. Your portfolio is supposed to be 20 to 30% in tax advantage, okay? Now see here, you have to show them this, that this is the Congressional Budget Office says before the COVID. And I want everyone to read this. Before COVID, this is what their plan is from the Congressional Budget Office. That if the Medicare and Medicare go unchanged, then the rate, what they are thinking of to change. And most of the time people think that it's not possible. They said it's not possible. So just simply ask them a simple question. Do you know the tax history of US? If you said it cannot happen, do you know the tax history? And then share this thing. That is not something that US never did this before. We are still living in the lowest tax era in US, because from 1932 till 1981, the tax bracket was never less than 63%. So now you tell me, what do you think about it? The taxes will go up or go down? If you think it's going down, then you don't need to do anything. But if you know the taxes will go up, then the strategy that you're using, are you really doing the right thing? And I'm not saying to move everything out of that strategy. I'm just simply saying that have some money into a bucket where you don't have to be worried about taxes tomorrow.
Can you show the percentage of those buckets, please, again?
It's 10 to 20% in the first bucket, 20 to 70% in the second bucket, and 20 to 30% in the third bucket.
Thank you.
That means no bucket is a bad bucket, okay? But is better. And I want you guys to go and search on YouTube Power of Zero. This guy who's coming in our convention, okay? I think what his name? What McKnight is that?
David McKnight.
David. Go and watch his Power of Zero video. It's 16 or 17 minutes. Okay? You will understand. It's really good. Really, really good. He's sharing 12 points of Power of Zero. In that, he's talking about the taxes and all those things. Just listen to it, because you will enjoy when he's going to share most of the stuff in the convention too. But go and listen to it. I just did it today. So it's really worth it. Go and listen. It's a 17-minute video, but it's good. So when it comes to taxes, okay, we just have to explain them this. And our main focus to help them to understand that if the taxes are not in your favor tomorrow and your entire money is sitting in the tax defer bucket, you will end up paying a lot of money in taxes. Why not to have a tax advantage bucket in our portfolio so that we are not getting into any trouble tomorrow? Got that point? Very simple way to make them understand. Believe me, people have a lot of money, but when they see their own tax bracket, they are not in the higher tax bracket. Very rare people you will find that they are in the higher tax bracket. And if they are not in the higher tax bracket, why to block their money for next 20, 30 years? Why to have that penalty and all those things? Why you want to get tomorrow the taxes change and all those things? So anyone have any question in this?
I have a quick question.
Yeah.
I don't know the product part itself, but a lot of people put money in 401k and stuff, right? So there has to be a certain. I know if they withdraw it, they're going to pay a penalty, okay? And depending on, like you said, a very important thing, that they are now most likely in a higher tax bracket, so they're going to pay that too. But if they wait for the complete time, whatever the age is,
it's 59 and a half.
Yeah, so they would still pay taxes if they wait, if they don't withdraw it early. I'm saying if they wait for the complete.
See, I'll give you one simple answer for this. In US, okay, there is no such thing like a no tax. Either you pay tax today or you pay tax tomorrow. There is no such thing that you're not paying taxes ever. Whether you're paying on the seed or you're going to pay on the crop, but you're going to pay the taxes in US.
Even if you wait for the complete.
It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter.
Can I explain this?
No.
The reason you pay taxes is because, okay.
Because
I mean, it's very common sense. You haven't paid taxes on that money because
Yeah.
the company put that money away for you and you haven't paid taxes. So that's why you have to pay taxes.
In US, any money that you earn, it doesn't matter you're earning or a company earning. If it's never get taxed, they have to pay the tax.
So it's always deferred. It's always deferred then, basically.
Even a lot of people don't know that when they have a Roth 401k from the company, okay, that people are putting money in Roth 401k, their side of a contribution is not going to be taxable, but the company's side of a contribution will be taxable because company is getting tax benefit on the money that they are contributing. So that money never got taxed. So when you withdraw that money, you have to pay the taxes.
So even in tax advantage, which is Roth, you have to pay for the
Roth
company's
401k.
Roth 401. Okay.
Not 401k mostly.
Yeah. It's basically 401k or Roth 401k is based on company to company. But this portion of money that company is contributing in any 401k, whether it's a regular or Roth, is taxable.
And there is a backdoor Roth too, right?
Hold on about backdoor for 6 months. They are closing that backdoor strategy too.
Let's go and utilize it.
It's not easy for everybody now. You know, it's like you have a lot of money. If you try to do that and withdraw more money. Now see, I did one FNL last Sunday, and this guy have $600,000 in his 401k, and his tax bracket is 15%.
Okay, 15%.
And when I explained him this, he got so scared. He said, "You tell me where to move, I will move." I said, now you cannot move, boss. If you withdraw 600,000, your tax bracket is 37%.
Yeah.
And the worst thing, you don't know that at the time of retirement, even if you want, you cannot withdraw the whole thing together. If you did it, your half of the money goes into the taxes.
But there was an
Even if-
argument, said that during the retirement, does the tax bracket going to be less for after
retirement? See, tax brackets are a tax bracket. Okay.
Yeah, someone mentioned it's not going to be the same.
That person go and check his license first and check his knowledge base.
He said that since we are making,
Because see, tomorrow if you get taxed, you're not going to go and tell him that, oh, you said that they are charging me, now pay this. It's not happen. Don't believe in anybody, whatever they said.
Yeah, I was surprised.
That's
See,
that's
the
because
worst part that in retirement, you don't have any deduction. So even if you have a less amount of money, you will fall under the higher tax bracket. A lot of people say, oh, I don't have any earned money, so I'm not going to pay taxes. Boss, where your money will come in retirement? We'll cover that part too. Okay, when we are going into FNA, we have all this slide to show you. But people don't understand that even in retirement, you need income from somewhere. That income can be coming from your investment or coming from your saving, whatever, but you need money to survive in retirement. Okay, so don't fall in. That's why I said, go and watch this Power of Zero. Go and watch this 17-minute video. You will love it. So any question, or do you understand really how much we have to share about taxes?
Altaf, I know you covered a little bit. I just want to add your flavor to it, the response, how you respond. Hey, so Altaf, I know you mentioned everything, but when I'm not paying the tax now, so I'm also investing that money, right? Taxable income. I'm okay with paying the taxes later, because that is, suppose if I'm in the 20% bracket, even the 20% is also growing, right? So then I don't mind paying extra percentage of tax. That is one of the questions that I get all the time. So how would you answer?
Ram, same question I'll ask you. Like, what is your tax bracket today? What was before 5-10 years ago? And are you willing to grow from here, or you don't want to grow?
Yeah, I want to grow.
See, you're saving taxes on only seed, okay? But tomorrow you're going to pay more taxes on your seed as well as the crop too. Just because you didn't put the taxes, pay the taxes today on the seed, you do your calculation, okay? If you think you're doing right, I want you to sit down one day and put this number on paper. You will understand what I'm talking about. Because see, people will talk that, oh, I'm saving that. Do you know how much money you're really saving in that? If you're in the 10% tax bracket and you have an income of what, 100,000?
Mm-hmm.
What is the 10% of it?
10K.
Okay. Now this 10K become 100K tomorrow.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Mm-hmm. And your tax bracket changed at least 5%. Okay. Mm-hmm. And the taxes went up by 5%.
Mm-hmm.
Now how much you're going to pay?
But my before tax money, I'm also investing that fund that become
you do
then I don't mind. Yeah.
That's why I said, Ram, you're saying a really good point, but I want you to go and do this calculation for yourself. Okay, and once you're done with your calculation, come and share with me. Let's see what is going on. Okay. Because see, there are a lot of twists and turns, Ram, because we are talking about 10-15 years. Okay. Now in that 10-15 years, have you ever thought about COVID will come? No. Have you ever thought that the government will print this millions of dollars like this? No. Now, because this millions of dollars got printed, somebody have to pay that. So now people like you are going to pay, right? Because I don't have any money in tax deferred bucket. So they cannot take from me. But thank you, Bram, for giving that chance to government.
Yeah, on top of that, the market correction is also there. The market risk is always there. So
that is a totally different topic, because right now I'm talking about, understand one thing. Understand, when we do FNA, we have one topic of tax bucket and one topic of strategy. Okay. Now I show you about the taxes.
Okay.
So at that time, I'm not going to talk about strategy.
Yeah, Pa,
But now in later on, when I have in my FNA, where I'm going to share the strategy.
Okay.
Altaf, can I ask one question, please?
Yeah.
Yeah, Altaf, I come across many people who have the Roth 401k and they are happy with that. They say they are getting, the money in that third bucket. So they are pretty satisfied over there. So how do we, how do you talk to such people? I mean, the company is giving
Ask
them.
me again because you got, broken in between. I didn't get the question.
Okay. So basically I come across many people who have the Roth 401k. So they are completely satisfied because now they don't have to worry about that, right? They have most of their money in the third bucket. So how do we try to talk to these people because they are satisfied now? They have a good chunk of money in the third bucket. How do you answer such people?
That's wonderful that you have something in that bucket is good. A lot of people see when something they have it, just tell them that is good.
Correct. Yeah.
There is nothing wrong in it.
Right.
But then what I'm going to see that is there anything in their portfolio which is in the tax deferred bucket? You got my point?
Mm-hmm.
If they don't have anything other than that, I'll say good, wonderful, just leave them. Just show them the value of tax advantage bucket and congratulate them that they are doing it. But at that time, you have to see whether they are max funding the money or they are just putting the equal match. Because, if they are doing just equal match, that money is not going to be enough when they get retired. So based on that dollar amount that they are contributing and the amount of money that they have in their Roth 401k, we'll think what to say. But if we are seeing that they have the Roth 401k, tell them the congratulations.
Yeah, because I come across many people, they are putting their whole 19,500 in the Roth 401k.
Yeah, tell them good thing. You're doing good. But again, we are not going to finish our FNA right then and there, right? There are a lot of things that we are going to cover. Now, this person is not going to be in that bucket where he's going to be worried about taxes.
Correct.
So what we have to see whether he has a living benefit or not, or whether he is using, because see, Roth 401k, he has it, but what strategy he is using. Now, I'm going to talk about that when I'm going to share the strategy. You got my point? Because this is one of the things that he is good in. Because if you have a Roth 401k, yes, you're paying taxes today, so you're good in that area. But when it comes to the strategy, he's not good in that area.
Right, he's still in the variable market.
Yeah. So you have to know where you have to force. Here, good thing, very good, nice, leave, move on. Even suppose if someone have a 401k and he's contributing equal match, no overfunding, and is just a current 401k, I'm not going to spend that much time on that. Why? Because there is nothing. You got my point? Until and unless I see something in his data collection where I have seen something is in a tax deferred bucket, which is going more or extra, I'm not going to talk about a lot of things. I'm just simply explain them the tax bucket. I'll show them the difference and I will move.
Thanks.
So, it's not, when you're doing an FNA, you should know what are the places and what are the information that we are sharing and why we are sharing. So we share tax bucket so that they can understand the value of tax advantage. Got that point? That they should understand the value of tax advantage, because our solutions, when we talk about the IUL, is a solution of what? Tax advantage bucket. If they don't understand the tax advantage bucket, it will be very hard for you to show them the value at that time. Okay. Now, can someone tell me how many things goes into tax advantage bucket? Like if you want to save money for tax advantage, what are the things that comes under tax advantage bucket?
Roth IRA, and we have the municipal bonds. And although we say HSA, but that is health related, obviously.
HSA is not a retirement plan.
Yeah,
okay?
that's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. It is health related. Yes, though some people use the term HSA, but it is health related. Yeah. And the 7702 plan.
7702 plan is a cash value life insurance. Remember that part. It's a tax code, like 401k is a tax code. Same thing in the IRA. 702 is a tax code for the life insurance, a cash value life insurance. Okay. That means if anyone wants to save money in tax advantage bucket, there are not much, or there are not that many options. One, municipal bond, which is a think of a pass. That means it's not a really good returns on that. So people are not really investing in municipal bond nowadays. Okay. Now Roth. Okay. Roth IRA is something, has a limited amount of money that you can put. That is 6,500 if I'm not wrong. Okay. Not more than that. And if your income is more than, I think, 230 combined, you're not eligible for Roth, right?
less than that.
So you're not eligible for that. Then you have only one option, which is 7702 plan, which is cash value life insurance. Because 401k plan is not an individual plan. It's only opened by an employer. So if you are working for a company, or if you have your own company and you want to do the 401k, that's a different story. But as an individual or as a person, you cannot open your own 401k, and not 401k, but Roth 401k. So, tax advantage, if you want to take, there are only few things. And the maximum limit of contribution, okay, is only there in cash value life insurance, because your contribution limit is based on the death benefit that you're paying. Now, tax deferred is what? Other than this thing, anything that goes is a tax deferred. IRA, 401k, SEF IRA, then stock portfolio, everything is in the tax deferred bucket. So,
Altaf,
yeah.
one question.
Yeah.
So tax deferred, we don't prefer my tax advantages. I mean, by looking at the strategy and all, tax advantages much better because we pay tax now so that we don't pay tax later. But why this 30 to 70% in tax deferred, tax later?
You asked a really good question. I didn't see most of the people catch that part. Because even though we are saying the tax advantage is better, why we keep 70% of our money in tax deferred bucket? Okay. So the answer is most of the investment that is available in the industry, okay, is in the tax deferred. So we are not saying them to put everything in tax advantage bucket. Even people who want to invest in the real estate or any other investment, those are the tax deferred. So that's the reason what we are saying, you can do whatever you want to do with the 70% of your money. You just have to keep at least 20 to 30% of your portfolio in a place where tomorrow, if the taxes are not in your favor, you don't have to touch that money. You have a vehicle where you can withdraw for a time being. Because if you see the tax history, US tax history always went up the taxes for 3 to 5 years, and then they come down. 3 to 5 years went up and then come down. So we don't know when we get retired or when we need that money. At that time, maybe taxes are not in our favor. So if our entire portfolio is in tax deferred bucket, then we will end up paying a lot of money in taxes. Why not to have a little bit of diversification in our taxes and keep our 20 to 30% in that bucket?
And also the tax deferred, like there is a contribution from employer in most of the cases. So when
no, because see, there are a lot of other investment too.
Yeah.
Okay, where you invest money and you don't pay taxes until and unless you sell those properties and all those things. So anyways, you're deferring the taxes.
Exactly.
You
need.
So most of the investment in the industry are tax deferred. Only this 3 or 4 options where you can take the advantage of tax advantage. So you cannot suggest them to keep the entire money in this bucket. It's 20 to 30% is more than enough. Because see, today, people have a lot of other portfolio. Like if you ask me, I have a stock portfolio, I have this crypto portfolio, I have a real estate portfolio, I have a tax advantage portfolio. So I cannot just put everything in one portfolio, So that's why it's supposed to be like this. but that tax advantage will help you in a long run.
Altaf, quick question.
Mhm.
I thought stock portfolio will come in tax now, right? Because you are putting in stocks
No,
after
there are
tax.
two things. If you're doing the daily trading, that means if you're buying and selling within a year, then it's a regular tax, which comes in the tax now. End of the year, you have to do it. But if you're holding any stock more than a year, then it's get into the capital gain taxes. And it's only you have to pay when you sell those stock and all those things.
Right,
But you have to hold that stock more than a year.
right. No, I get that part. I get that part that, if it is more than a year, only the growth will be taxed. But I'm talking about the money that you invest in stocks is essentially your after tax dollars, right? So
That's your
technically it's
saving
like,
money. Yeah.
right. So
But
technically it should be in the first bucket, no, is what I was saying.
no, that's your tax now. You already taxed that money. But this is not like when you put that in a Roth IRA, okay, or Roth 401k or the 7702 plan, that you pay taxes on the seed. Now you're investing, so the growth is not taxable. It's not like that. Okay. Like same thing when you do annuities too. The money goes, the qualified and non-qualified money is called. Okay. So even in that case, if your seed is already tax paid, still the growth will be taxable.
Right.
Okay. So only in this format where the Roth IRA, Roth 401k, and 7702 plan or municipal bond. In these four vehicles, if the seed, that means your initial investment is tax paid or after tax dollar, the entire growth is tax free.
The limitation.
Right.
So
But other
basically,
than
we are
that,
deferring
any other vehicle, if you are putting the money in, yes, when you're withdrawing, the amount, the original amount that you already paid tax on it, you don't have to pay that much tax on it. Like if you put $1,000, which is after tax, and tomorrow you have $5,000, so when you withdraw, you have to pay the taxes on 4,000. You don't have to pay that $1,000 again tax. But the growth are taxable. Same thing happen in annuities too. When we talk about annuities, we'll go from there. So, all right. Maybe there is no call tomorrow, okay? Because I have meeting with AIG and all that, so I'm not going to be there. I don't know, I'm going to do morning call. Most probably I'm doing the 2 morning calls tomorrow, 6:30 and 8:30. So if anyone wants to join, you can join that one. But I think tomorrow night, I'm not doing any call. So we'll take care of this call some other day. But tomorrow night, there is no call. Okay. So if you want, get into the morning call or
Altaf, both calls, 7:30 and 9:30 p.m., both calls you want to do evening?
yeah, evening, I'm not there tomorrow.
Okay.
Because I'm not in from almost 5:30 till 12 o'clock at night. I'm not there. So.
And tomorrow evening we'll have Reshmaji's call, right?
No, I don't think so. It's
Yeah,
on.
tomorrow was supposed to be that recognitions, she said, right?
Not tomorrow. Yeah, tomorrow is what,
Tomorrow.
December 1st?
Yeah, December 1st. She's going the recognitions call, right? Yeah.
Oh man.
December 2. Yeah, that's correct.
Yes, that call is really important, the recognition call. I don't know how I'm going to join. Oh, man.
You are triple booked.
Altaf has big recognition, so he cannot miss them.
It's not about the recognition, it's about our team call. I cannot miss because it's a team call. So I can't miss. Recognition is okay because, you know, that's the secondary. But when your team call is there, you have to be there. It's not like there is no excuse on that. So let's see. I might join from that meeting. Who knows? Yeah, but don't miss tomorrow's call. It's really important because Reshma and Salim Bhai worked very hard on that. I don't know what they arranged, but they're working on that for, I think, pretty long time. So it's going to be a good call. Now
So,
I know Bala is looking at me and I'm looking at Bala because we both are in the meeting. So,
So Altaf, you are going to have a morning calls tomorrow, but skipping the evening calls. So the same topic you will cover day after tomorrow or so.
yeah, I have to cover.
Okay.
Don't worry, Ram. I'm not going to leave you with the short of information.
Thank you.
So, yes, definitely. Tomorrow evening we don't have call, but yeah, I'll cover that part.
Thank you.
We have a call in the morning though, right?
Yeah, morning 6:30 and 8:30. If you want to join that call, just for one day. But please practice this and try to hold on your information and give them a limited information only. Okay. And when it comes to taxes, anything other than this, please tell them to talk to the CPA or the tax attorney. Because sometimes people start giving advices on the inheritance taxes and these taxes and that taxes. That's not our thing. We are not going to advise on anything. Okay. All right.
Yeah, I have a question. Could you please explain what is K1C1 in tax now?
See, K1C1, when you have a corporations and, you know, partnership and all those things, or you have different businesses, then those are the income that you receive from there as a commission. Those terms are used. So like a normal employee, when they get income, it's called W2. And this answer maybe Roma gave very nicely. Roma is very expert in that.
K1 is the business income.
Yeah.
Like you have partnership, LLC, INC,
Yep.
whatever business income you take, that's K1. And if you have the bank income, that's C1. The income on your money from the bank.
There is no C1, there is a 1099 from the interest that you get. It's a 1099 again.
C1 is corporate. C1 is a corporation, which is a C Corp, if I'm not wrong.
But
When you
even
have
they issue a K1 most of the time.
No, C Corp issue C1.
Yeah.
K1 issued by S Corp or LLC, if I'm not wrong.
And then
Yeah, LLC is K1.
Yeah, LLC and S Corp is same thing.
Thank you.
That's why anyways, we are not doing anything with the tax now bucket. So don't take that much pressure. We just give some explanation on tax later and tax advantage. And Noreen,
Yes, Mia.
any question? First thing, use Google. The second thing, call your upline and ask them question. No, this is the right way, believe me. If you're not doing that, then you will never know about this thing. Go use.
The Google says C1 is the consultant salary.
Good job, Nuruddin.
Always Hemdani, you forgot Shobha.
Oh,
I have
yeah.
to remind you every time.
No, I'll never forget Hemdanis. I have one Hemdani in my team. I recruited, right? So I will never.
Yeah, the beneficiary is mine.
At least put contingency as mine.
Recording stopped.
I asked today Phil, can I take policies on all my RMDs? He said, oh no, and all that. I said, if you want, I can adopt them. So Phil said, adopt me too. I said, see, I'm just talking about adopting, not putting you in the will.
Are you doing buy-sell agreement, Altaf? If we go, you want the
No, Shobha, it's a key person.
Key person.
Oh, thank
No,
you.
I really asked him that question.
Hmm.
I said, because our business is depend on all these people, right?
Hmm.
So we want to secure that too. So is there any way? Because everybody have somebody, a key person. But there are different rules. I said, go and find out. Because if it's there, who knows? All right. So one thing, today's call and today's information is done.
Yeah,
If
I
you have
think
any,
there is a
if
limitation
there
on
any
that, right,
question, you
Altaf?
can ask me.
As far as I knew, for a C Corp, if we are at an officer level, you can do that key person mentioned.
No, C Corp is totally different thing there.
But
Now see, I'm not a CPA. So I have limited information. So if you have if you need detailed information, then you have to call CPA. Because that's his job.
okay.
And that's what answer you have to give it to your client too. The thing I don't have control or it's not in my thing, I'm just going to tell him that if you want to know more about it, better call CPA and he will explain you what it is.
Okay.
Because am I getting C1? No. So why should I worry about it? I know K1 because I'm getting it. So I know K1.
So Altaf, I
Right.
have a question. When there is an argument comes in, like going back to what Ram had mentioned, someone says that with the tax deferred and tax advantage for the comparison purpose, like if I mean, I hear this from one of the prospect that why don't we just see that whatever the money you are saying that after paying the tax I'm going to invest, that is going to give me only very certain percentage, but with the tax deferred, if I able to get in a higher percentage, but when you look at after some time, don't you think that almost both are going to be the same?
Ashok.
Can we have a comparison?
Okay. One thing understand, people have this habit. They don't want to do anything. Because you're there, they want you to do it for themselves. What you have to tell them, see boss, I did it so many times and I know the answer. Now I want you to do it for your money. You do it and then we'll sit down. What you have to say? You do it and we'll sit down. I don't have time, Ashok. My 1 hour is not $10, $15 an hour. My 1 hour can be 5,000, 50,000 or 100,000. I don't have time for that.
No, but we are talking to your one of
Understand?
Your,
Yeah.
You cannot say like that. Like just like I just did. You go and you do your research or something.
Yeah, of course.
They are asking for more information, which means they're not
No, they are not asking more information, Ashok. They said let's compare. Now you said that if I'm not putting taxes today, if I'm investing, I will be in a better place. So you do the calculation and we'll go from there. Go and do the calculation for it. Why you want to do it? First thing, tell me one thing. Just because he asked you, you will put yourself busy in those things. See, he's not listening. He's not believing it. So tell him that do one thing, boss. I just want you to put the numbers on paper so that you know what you're doing is right. Because I did it so many times in the past and I know what answer is it. but I know because you're believing something for a long time. So I want you to do one thing, just put that on the paper so you will understand that are you really doing the right thing or not. And once you're done, let me know, we'll sit down and discuss. You got my point?
I mean, yeah.
That works, Ashok. I did
Ashok,
that. I did
don't try to satisfy them on everything.
True.
Okay? You're a financial professional. Remember that part. You're a financial professional. You're not a salesman. That message you have to have here. Okay? That anybody can come and anybody can tell, do this, show me this. Sorry, boss. I'll show you how to do it. You do it. What you have to tell him? I'll help you, but you do it. If you need any information, let me know, I'll give you. But you do it. Because see, I'm in the industry and I did this thing for so many times. But I want you to see by yourself. Don't feed anything and whatever they want. Remember, Ashok, that's why you need a hold. That's why you need a hold on your body language. That's why you need a hold on everything that you do. I know you have that, like, if I'm not doing this, how he's going to think, what he's going to think, he might not gonna buy. Forget about that part.
Sometimes they feel that information is incomplete when they ask some questions where we have to provide.
Ashok, based on my information, that tax deferred will not be profitable in future. Okay. Now, as a financial professional, I told you, you don't trust me. So you do it and we'll sit down and discuss. You got my point? See, something can take a minute or two. I will ready to do it. Okay. Something takes a long time. Do you think it's a 1 minute work that you're talking about? There are a lot of things involved in it. You have to go back and find out that when he started this investment, at that time, what was his tax bracket? At that time, how much he contributed and what he earned in last 10 years or last 5 years and this and that, blah, 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 blah. There is a lot of numbers involved in it. What, you have that much time? You're part-time in this business, Ashok. I hope so, right? I'm not wrong.
That's correct, but he's talking about from now, because what we are giving the tax advantages to start from this year. He said that, okay, the same amount what you are mentioning about to put in tax advantage, what if I go and contribute the same in a tax deferred with like I am already saving a 35%, but the money is going to grow on that 35% every year for the next like a 15 years. Then the
how much percent, Ashok?
35.
35%. Where they are getting 35%?
Tax deferred, right?
Yeah, but which vehicle they are getting 35%?
Talking about like the 401k or maybe IRA.
Which 401k? Can you show me one portfolio that getting 35%?
No.
He's saying his tax bracket is 35%.
Tax deferred, which means that he's saving already that tax money. He's going
What
to
is his tax bracket, Ashok?
So let's say if I go and contribute in a traditional IRA or SEP IRA, I will
what is his tax bracket, Ashok?
30s right now between 35 to 37.
If he is in 35, 37, everything is good for him. There is no argument at all. He's already in a higher tax bracket. Like today, I'm putting in a tax deferred bucket is good for me because I am already on a higher tax bracket. But somebody who's in 20, 23% or 18% or 15% is not good for them. You got my point? That's why this tax deferred is not for everybody. But if you are already in a higher tax bracket, okay, then it's a good thing to invest, good thing to save. You got my point? This is not for somebody who's in the higher tax bracket. This is for somebody who's in the lower tax bracket.
But still, that is ultra. Still, that is only 20,000 in 401k. He cannot put more than that.
What about SEP IRA? Or a
That means he's
traditional
owning a business.
Yeah.
He's not the employer. He's not. He's employer now. That's a totally different category.
SEP IRA is not so easy. People just use SEP IRA. SEP IRA have a lot of rules in that. You have a employee, he's working full time for 3 years or more. You have to offer him too a SEP IRA and all that. There are a lot of rules and regulation in SEP IRA. You know, what type of business you own. Is this an individual corporation or what? And so there are a lot of things involved in it. Okay. And if he's in 37%, then his income should be a pretty good amount of money. It's not like somebody who's working for a company can make that money where he's going into the 37%.
Like Altaf.
Very rarely happen. So see, you can create imaginary situations, but then there is no answer for imaginary situations. Okay. Let's talk on the real situation.
There are few people I know, they are all in the tax bracket right now.
Ashok, you're dreaming so much.
No, not at all.
And the daydreams are not good.
No, in Virginia, this area, a lot of people make very good money with government contract and 2 jobs. You don't believe, it's really hard to go and connect with them.
So good thing, then they have a different type of solutions. See, in financial industry, there is no cookie cutter solutions. Remember that part. You cannot think that, okay, I got it and everybody is going to be in that solution. No, there are a lot of things involved in it. His age, okay, his risk factor, his time horizon, what he wants to do, where he wants to go, what reason he is doing this. There are so many things. It's not like 1 or 2 things. So we are right now talking on the basic situations. When you get into the high network client where they have a tax liability, when they have this probate problem or the asset transfer problem and all that, there are totally different planning. This estate planning things involve a lot of life insurance money, but why? How? There are so many things.
And there also questions comes in, like some of them, they wanted to move some of their assets, like in the money from India, and will they can go and invest such money in tax advantages? Like I know.
Yeah, tell them to bring that money legally. Then we can do something. You know, there are so many people in the industry. They said, "Oh, I have this much money in India. You tell me wherever you want to invest, I will do it. Just tell me how to bring." I said, "I'm not in that game, boss."
Now, what if there is legal?
You know, the biggest problem, people who invested in India, today their biggest problem to bring that money here.
Yes.
Now they understand that what is happening. Because if they bring legally, there are a lot of consequences, a lot of money that they are going to lose. If they're not bringing legally, then how they are going to use that money?
How are we going to legalize that money is also an issue.
That's why people live in La La Land. Let them live there. Okay.
But my question is again, if it is illegal, the way they brought the money legal, what are the options we have?
Then depend like what they want. See, for us, we have only 3 options. What we have 3 options?
Will and trust, annuity.
That's it. If he wants to invest in that, any of this vehicle, we can help them. Other than that, we are not into that business.
Is that immediate annuity?
Why immediate annuity? If he is not,
they're all
immediate annuity is for somebody who don't have time. Otherwise, if you want really a good result, immediate annuity is not good. Because you're not giving time to grow that money. Understand that part. And money takes time to Ashok, money takes time to
grow.
Got it? Money takes time to grow.
You're like kindergarten teacher holding the stick saying,
This are the concept. These are the concept you have to be like here. That the moment that thing comes up, you should know that what to say. You know, this business is very, very simple. Okay, the information that we need is very simple, straightforward.
We make it complicated.
We make it complicated trying to do a lot of things where we don't have to.
Sure.
That's how people think when you go under prospect. Like these guys do a lot of strategy, analyze, Google.
Ashok, I'll tell you.
Comparison.
You're working for a company, right?
Yeah.
Right. I think you guys have some projects in that, right?
Hmm.
And in that project, everyone have a different work given, right?
Yep.
That you're going to do this thing, you're going to do this thing. Now, are you going to try to do everything, even though you know?
Yeah, I cannot.
No, right?
Yes.
Same thing. Same thing. In financial industry, there are a lot of things, but you're not assigned for it. You're assigned for this thing only. So just focus on that. If you try to do everything, you will not be anywhere. Just think like this is a big project, and in that project, I got assigned this part only. Will, annuity, and life insurance, and these are the information that I have to help and share. That's all. See, I'm not in IT, but I'm explaining you in the way. But you got my point?
Yeah, I got it.
Because people are trying to do everything. That's not what we are. Keep yourself simple, easy for people to understand. Believe me, you will do the biggest sale, biggest business without any headache.
Because there was one time I say when it's an insurance, then they say your insurance should not be used as an investment.
But why you jump to insurance first?
That's what they consider. Like the IUL is nothing but a life insurance.
So why I'm doing this headache, doing FNA first before I talk about insurance? Because first I want them to understand, and then only I'm going to show them the product. But if you just go and talk about product, they're not going to understand.
No, but in the BOP, when you look at the tax advantage, we clearly say it's a life insurance. Underneath, you put all this, like in the breakdown, it says completely tax-free. They immediately conclude it's a life insurance, right? What you are trying to provide an option called a life insurance, how that could be an investment.
If you want to understand, Ashok, let's sit down and talk. My answers are like that only. If you want to understand more, Ashok, let's sit down and talk. I cannot give you a random answers if you're asking me random question. Ashok, I know you have a question, but if you want to understand, let's sit down. Now what you're going to say, be a nasty client. Let's see.
I think he got your morning session somehow.
No, I need to know now if I had to spend time.
Yeah, because see, morning session, I told them that go on Google, go on YouTube, go anywhere and find as many questions you can. And I told them that bring as many bad questions you can bring. I'll answer tomorrow. And they are searching on Google, YouTube, and everything.
These are all I face. These questions all comes every single.
Yeah, that's what I said. Ask me a question that if I give you an answer like this, that okay, Ashok, if you want to know more about it, let's sit down and talk.
Okay, I mean, I'm part of the BOP. Okay, now I'm ready. Just let's go and discuss. That's what I get it, right?
Ashok, I don't work like that, Ashok. See, I'm in the financial industry. Okay. If I'm saying something, I'm liable for it. Okay. So if you want to know more about it, there are a lot of other things that I have to know before I have to give you any explanation. So, and I'm serious, Ashok. If you want to know more about it, let's sit down and understand. Then you decide. Now?
Okay, let's sit down.
Yeah, okay, but not today. I don't have time today. I work on appointment, Salva.
Selva is already sleeping.
Salva is sick, but still he's on the call.
Awesome.
He's on the call from the
Good
morning.
job, Selva.
I'm not like intelligent student like Soba.
And also destructive student like Shobha.
One of the healing process for his sickness is he has to work. I mean, he has to listen.
I'll tell you, don't lose your patience, okay? Don't lose your hold. I have information. Understand that part, Ashok. I have information. And if I don't want to, nobody can take from me. You got my point? You have to have that hold. I'll tell you the story. This Thanksgiving, I went for a dinner. And my cousin, he let me introduce a person who's a millionaire, like a lot of money. I don't know how many millions he have. Okay, he introduced me in a way that he's like owning a lot of money. And he said, oh, you have all the financial question, ask him, he's the right person. And this guy have no patience. He started asking me questions. Oh, whole life is good or term life is good and this annuity. I said, boss, I cannot answer you like that. I don't know where you're coming from and what you're looking for. I said, term life is good, whole life is good based on what you're looking for. If you want, take my number and we'll sit down and talk. Then after 30 minutes, he again start. Oh, I have somebody offer me an annuity and this and that. So annuity, I said, again, it's the same thing. It's a financial stuff. We have to sit down and talk. I cannot give you any information like that. He did 3 times and all 3 times I did the same answer. Finally, he took my number and he said, I'll give you a call and we'll sit down. If you're not learning how to hold your information, you will not close big policies, big sales, and people will never treat you as a financial professional. Remember that part. Financial professionals have a hold on themselves. I can be very excited. Oh man, he has a lot of money. He has this, and I start talking. I can answer his any question what he was asking there. But if I answer him, he will never sit down with me. First thing. Second thing, I cannot close a big sale if I don't know what he have. Hold on to yourself. People will like that part and then they will give you a time. Because if they want to know something and you are not ready to share, they want to sit down. It's a simple thing. Last 2 days, I didn't even text him yet. I want to check his hunger. I'll check up to 7 days. In 7 days, if he is not texting me, then I will text him, how are you doing? And when you're planning to sit down with me, that's all. Have patience. Don't rush.
So when we have to provide more information and we don't know, then how we have to set up on a follow-up and who needs to be get involved, because we don't know that information, right? So do you think that I have my upline?
Very first thing at this moment, upline is going to do the appointment and the follow-up is done by the upline too. People make this mistake. They do appointment with the upline and they do follow-up. Come on. People have the more questions at the time of follow-up. If the new person is doing follow-up, he's going to kill that. Because when I'm sharing that information, you might not know. So you don't ask me question, but when you go home, you will research and you come back with a question. Now, at that time, a person who cannot do the presentation, how can he do the answering of his question? It's not possible. Your upline should be there whether you're doing the presentation or a follow-up. It's very,
And
very
I have a question, Altaf.
yeah.
You said you'll text him or wait a week or so until he texts you back. But if he was so eager, he would. Why would we wait? He would have met somebody else in between. Then what?
It never happened because he asked me
Never
question. I didn't give him information. Now he cannot resist that thing.
So he's curious in a sense.
People don't resist. When people have money, they think how he cannot give me the answer. Because people, whenever they share that they are having so much money, people are ready to give him information and I'm not ready. For me, my information have value. My time have value. I don't count myself a $10 or $50 an hour guy, where I can just, whenever somebody tells me to sit down and I'm going to do it now. Understand, we are in the industry where our value of an hour is a lot. The day you understand what is the value of your 1 hour, you will never give away your time like that. People are making 100,000, 200,000 in 1 month on a part-time basis. Do you know if you calculate what is their hourly pay? You know, each FNA that we do, it takes somewhere between 1 hour to 2 hours.
2 hours. Yeah.
Okay, follow-up do 1 hour, maybe. Application take 1 hour. And after approval, delivery takes 1 hour. Somewhere between 6 hours, you make somewhere between $10,000 minimum. Now, if you're making $10,000 in 6 hours of work, what is your hourly pay?
Yep, more than 1,000.
No, not more than 1,000. What is your pay?
I didn't get the question, Altaf.
Divide by
You
12.
said
Yeah, divided by 6.
divided by
10,000 divided by 6. How
1,000
much is it?
divided by 6.
1,666.
1,600.
Who get that much money in an hour? Doctor, lawyer, engineer. Who's getting it?
Altaf is getting.
No, Altaf is getting more than that.
More than that. I was about to say that. He's beyond CIO, CEO.
I don't see if I'm closing policies is minimum 25,000. Minimum. So it's not like, you have to understand in our industry, the amount of time that you spend with the client, that's the only time we work. We don't work all the time. So your working hours are only when you're spending time with the client. So you have to count that thing. Right now, there are people who are working with policies. Those policies are like $200,000, $300,000 worth of commission. Now, if you calculate their hourly, think about that. So we are not those people anymore. Before getting into this business, I don't know, whatever the hourly price we think about ourselves. Once you get into this business and you're licensed, you're not a normal person anymore. You have to understand that part.
Ashok is licensed from today. Congratulations to him.
Oh, you got license, Ashok?
Yeah, today.
Oh my God. Ticket to $1 million.
Congrats, Ashok.
Thank you.
Yeah. So your hourly rate went up today, Ashok.
Congratulations, Ashok.
Congrats, Ashok.
Thank you, everybody. All those are all still numbers, not
Congratulations.
Yeah, thank you.
Ashok Macha, congratulations.
Thank you, Rajesh.
Oh, Macha.
Macha. See, now Macha, after license, Macha comes.
Yeah, Macha.
அப்படிதான்
After
இருக்கும்
license.
செல்வா அப்படிதான் இருக்கும்.
Oh, சரி, okay.
No, it's a good thing that you have license. Now you will understand the value of this license. See, everyone have the same license. And see this, this thing.
Can you bring close to the camera? Yeah, thank you.
What is this? MDT?
MDRT.
What is MDRT?
Yeah, go type that on Google or YouTube and find out what is MDRT. And this is not from HGI, okay?
Million dollar round table.
And it's not even MDRT, it's a quote of table. So type the quote of table instead of $1 million round table. It's one step above.
What table?
Quote of table.
Million dollar round table.
$1 million is MDRT. When you have a quote of table is a step above the $1 million. And this is not for HGI, okay? This is all over the world, okay? When you are in the industry. This
What table, Altaf? What? COAT?
$1 million round table is something.
QUOTE? You meant that?
No, COURT.
Oh, quote of table. Okay.
So those type of things are very, very important. I get a lot of offers from every company.
You have a separate club. MDRT is a separate kind of forum or club found by.
I don't know much.
Billionaires?
No, it's in the industry. It's like every industry have the $1 million round table. Even the real estate have that for realtors and all that. And that recognized all over the world.
If you reached 3 times MDRT, that's when you qualify for that COT, quote of table.
MDRT quote is a short for the $1 million round table quote of the table membership.
I'm not even applying every year. This is what I applied one time.
Okay.
If I applied every time, I can be getting the different one too.
Yeah, to qualify, you have to submit the proof of your production equal to greater than set.
Yeah, it's from the company. We don't have to submit that. Then I think AIG did that one time. So, understand your value is very high. Your license, leave it, Ashok. We have to see the compensation plan. We have to see the HGI compensation.
No, I'm just curious about the MDRT membership itself, $70,000. Is that like what? That is just a basic.
No, it's expensive. The membership itself is expensive.
Yeah. Okay. Good to know. Something new we have learned.
Yeah, but now you're in the industry. Remember, you should know the value, that what value you hold. That's why they said you have to be always in the suit and proper attire, because now you're not a normal person. You have to understand this part. That's why you have to carry yourself when you're licensed.
I'm going to have a car, the back of the car full of suits. All we need to just open pick with a shoe, suits, anytime.
No, I have always.
Right? Yeah.
My car always there.
Yeah.
So Arunachalam suit you can have with all shoes.
All I need a small showroom there, just a little small mirror. So I can just get in the car, wear, shoot, and come out.
That's it.
All right. So